Have you ever had a passion for something, but you're so uncertain of how to make money from it or how to cash out from it? I was brought up to believe that certain professions earn more than other professions. For example, doctors earning more than musicians or singers. But how true is it in this age and time? Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Catholic Faith Forum. I'm your host, Stephanie Ezunye. Today, we'll be discussing on the topic, how to cash out from your passion. Joining me today are two amazing and handsome guests. So don't go anywhere, because after this break, we'll be meeting them. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. This is Catholic Faith Forum. I'm your host, Stephanie Ezunye. So today we'll be talking on the topic, how to cash out from your passion. Joining me today, as I said, are two handsome guests by the name Emmanuel Iwo and Emery Matthew. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. You're looking very good.
Thank you. You too.
And so are you.
Thank you, and you as well.
Okay. So can I hear your voices more? I'm not hearing you. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Very good. Better. So I'm fine. So Mr. Emery Matthew, the fair one over there, is an in-house graphic designer at Higher Thermocool PZ Cusons. He's a music composer and an arranger. You're welcome, Mr. Emery.
Thank you.
All right. So Emmanuel Iwo, aka Emery Strings, aka Emrys, is a Nigerian-born musicologist. He is currently the audio engineer, keyboardist at St. Dominic's Catholic Church, Yaba, the CEO of Emery's Music Empire, which offers music production, music education, audio engineering, live band, talent hunt, etc. His motto is, dare to be unique. You're welcome, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much.
Wait, all this only you?
I am ancestors.
You're already a public figure now. What are we saying again?
We're in the trend.
I can see that. Honestly, you're welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. Guys are looking very good. I love your glasses. Who
Thank
kill
you.
us?
I've not paid.
All right, guys. So let's get right into it. So, Emmanuel, just tell us, how can one cash out from their passion? Or let's start first. How do you know your passion? How can one know that passion?
Basically, passion is something you feel deep down inside you. And you do it without stress, even if it's so stressful. Now,
do it without stress, even though it's so stressful. Word.
So we would say passion is a value that is significant to you. Things you do without, like I said, stress.
Without stress, it just comes naturally.
Even if it's stressful.
Okay.
Because there's nothing easy in life.
I see.
Yeah.
So Emery, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, like you said, something you do without stress. There's a sense of interest, excitement that keeps you going no matter what the outcome is. You don't really care so much as to how it's going to turn out. That there's just this burning interest and desire to achieve, to do, to keep going at it because of this connection you feel to it.
All right. So, as I said earlier, when we introduced the show, I said that I was born to believe that some professions are much more profitable than others. I give an example, like you being a doctor, you earn more money than someone who's just a musician. What do you have to say about that? Is it still true? So, Emery, I'll start with you.
Okay, for me, every industry, there's money in every industry, every business,
everything.
Yes, everything. I mean, if you call lawyers, you'll find successful lawyers. If you call musicians, you will find successful musicians. If you call doctors, you will find successful doctors. In fact, you will probably find some musicians that make a whole lot more than doctors make. So it depends on your level of marketing achievement, how far you go, and there's also a bit of luck aspects to it. But there's luck and there's persistence and keep going and keep growing.
Okay. Awesome. So Emmanuel, tell us, how can we cash out from our passion, this thing that's burning a desire to do something? How can we make money from it?
Basically, one is working towards it, and they say heaven helps those who help themselves.
Okay.
Now, building your talent, your passion is one thing.
Okay.
Like I tell people, I say, you have to get ready so that opportunity doesn't find you not ready. Now, cashing out from your passion is basically building it at an early stage of this passion, you don't know where it's leading you to.
Okay.
Because it's something you find yourself doing. Along the way, it begins to get income for you. Definitely, like he said, every profession is lucrative, it's successful.
Okay.
Music, to me, music is even more successful if you know your game and your marketing strategy, your audience, basically, because music is so wide and you need to know, music as a passion for me is so wide, and you just need to know your audience level. Someone singing Fuji music is not expecting to come to an R&B party to perform and expect the crowd to jump.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean the Akbala or the Fuji music is not a good music, but you need to know your audience.
Know your audience. Awesome. So now I'll bring it back to this country. So I've spoken to so many people. So I noticed some people have talents or probably have a passion for something. So I'm like, why don't you specialize in something you have passion for? So most times they would tell me, Steph, there's no money. I'd have loved to do this, but no money. Nobody gave me money to do it. So I'm just doing this other thing. At least I'm getting money, for example, especially salary earners. So they're like, I don't have money for it. So let me just be doing something that's giving me money. There's no money for that. So what do you have to say about people that have financial obstacles in achieving their passion? What would you advise them? So I'll go with you, Emery.
Okay, so the thing about a passion, it's different from a job in the sense that what drives you in the passion is not necessarily the money that you get from it or the income that you get from it. So one thing about moving from it just being a passion to be a source of income, you will need to have a mentality shift about that passion, because at that point in time, it's no longer just about the interest or just doing it. You are now looking for revenue, for income. So it essentially becomes a job. So what I would advise most people to do is, if you have a job, then you keep doing your job and then gradually shift from your passion just being a passion to a source of income. That is, you get 1 or 2 paying clients and study the market, see how the product or your service does, see the reception, what are the opportunities, what do you need to do. You would probably need to learn some additional skills.
More like do research.
You would probably need to learn sales, marketing, and some other skills, because in the beginning, it's just you don't have a team yet, most likely.
And it's not easy.
Yes, and it's not easy. So you don't just go from 0 to 100 overnight. So you take it gradually, study the passion, and know exactly what your opportunities are and how you can grow with that passion and what you have to offer.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. All right, guys, let's find out who the saint of this week is. Stay with us.
Our saint of the week is Saint Teresa of Avila, also called Saint Teresa of Jesus. She was a Spanish Carmelite nun and prominent Spanish mystic, writer, and reformer of the Carmelite order. She was born in Avila, Spain on 28 March 1515. Her parents were both pious Catholics and in some ways inspired their daughter to take up a life of prayer. As a young child, Teresa showed signs of a deeply religious nature. She would often retreat into silence for prayer and would enjoy giving alms to the poor. She was very close to her mother, who provided a warm counterbalance to the strictness of her father. However, in her teens, Teresa's mother passed away, leaving the young Teresa distraught at the void she felt. The young Saint Teresa tells of her despair and how she turned instinctively to the Virgin Mary for comfort. During her later teen years, Teresa lost some of her early piety and religious zeal. She recounted how she became interested in worldly matters and enjoyed the company of a wide circle of friends. However, she was not at peace, considering herself to be a miserable sinner. Later, she would look back in guilt at her early life. At the age of 16, her father decided to send Teresa to a convent school to be educated. This reignited in Teresa an interest in following a spiritual life, and after some deliberation, resolved to become a nun of the Carmelite order. Shortly after becoming a nun, Teresa experienced a severe illness, malaria, which left her in great pain for a long period. At one point, it was feared that her illness was so severe that she would not be able to recover. However, during this period of intense physical pain, she began to increasingly experience divine visions and an inner sense of peace. When she was a little better, she resumed her prayers with renewed vigor. However, after telling others of her visions and spiritual experiences, she was dissuaded from pursuing them. Certain clergy felt they were delusions of the devil. As a result, for many years, Teresa lost the confidence to practice her prayers, and her spiritual life was almost put on hold. However, when Teresa was 41, she met a priest who convinced her to go back to her prayers and implore God to come back. In the course of time, she became absorbed in deep contemplation, in which she felt an ever-growing sense of oneness with God. At times, she felt overwhelmed with divine love. The experiences were so transforming. She at times felt the illuminating grace of God would wash her soul away. She was so filled with divine contemplation, it is said at times that her body would spontaneously levitate. Teresa, however, was not keen on these public displays of miracles. When she felt it happening, she would ask other nuns to sit on her to prevent her floating away. Saint Teresa devoted much of the rest of her life to traveling around Spain, setting up new convents based on the ancient monastic traditions. Her travels and work were not always greeted with enthusiasm. Active during the Counter-Reformation, Teresa became the central figure of a movement of spiritual and monastic renewal, reforming the Carmelite orders of both women and men. 40 years after her death in 1622, Teresa was canonized by Pope Gregory XV. On 27 September 1970, Pope Paul VI proclaimed Teresa the first female doctor of the Church in recognition of her centuries-long spiritual legacy to Catholicism. And so we say, Saint Teresa, pray for us.
Welcome back, guys. This is still Catholic Faith Forum. So before we went on the break, we were talking about how to make money from your passion. So Mr. Emmanuel, can you tell us about how you were able to cash out from your passion, how you started and how you were able to grow from there?
Yeah, cashing out from this passion, we know we are still wanting to cash out, not like we
Cashed out already.
So I would say is steadfastness, dedication, perseverance. You need to first of all know that this passion is not going to just give you all you want in a day. Okay? Yeah. Now, for me, growing up, I love music and I was playing the keyboard and I found out that I could be paid. Like, I remember the first day I was paid to play the keyboard. I was like, for real? I want to play the keyboard and you're paying me for it. So cashing out from this is, for music, it's fun, which is the passion. That's why it's fun, even if it's stressful. So cashing out, basically, I would say, you need to persevere. Hit the right channels. Like I said, your audience markets, you need to know them. Then I always tell people one thing, I say, salary is a bribe to forget your dream. But not in the sense like forgetting your dream if you know if you have your plan. Yeah. You can actually work. Yes, I advise every musician to work to fund your music, because every challenge of every musician is funding, finance, getting a studio after you've produced and all of that. You still need to post to different platforms, distribution, promotion. Yes. So definitely you need to work, like you said, involve yourself in other things. There are so many things I found myself doing that reduces cost for me. For instance, I do my graphics for all my artists. I produce their songs and all of that. If I were to involve so many bodies, I would have to pay all of that. So one is managing your income first, because we can't have enough. Okay. We can't have enough.
So more like start with what you have, the little you have, even if it's very small, and just keep on. Awesome. So Mr. Emery, so tell me, how did it go for you? You told me you're a product designer, right? So how was it? How were you able to cash out from your own passion?
Yeah, actually, I'm a graphic designer. So
product designer, graphic designer. There are two different things.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know.
Generally, yes. there are distinctions. Okay, so for me back then, I had a lot of interest in creativity, computers, graphics, and all of that.
Yeah.
So when it was still just purely passion, I would just go ahead, tinker with the softwares, try to reproduce visuals that I see all around. Then over time, I started to do pro bono work for friends and the church as well. And then eventually, friends, this one thing leads to others, those I've done works for, linked me up with a job, pretty good job back
Yeah.
then. And from then, it's been going. So I have my job as a graphic designer. I have my clients, my own personal clients too, as a designer.
Awesome. So, Mr. Emery, I still want to ask you a question. So, most times in our country, we have some children and students and pupils that have passion for something. Then their parents serve as like a major stumbling block. For example, someone has interest for music. You want to study music, but your parents are not having it. They want you to study something else, probably law, any prestigious, prestigious course. They don't want you to do what you love. What would you advise that kind of person?
That's
The child, or yeah.
Okay, so for me, there are always ways to get yourself involved in what you are interested in, even if you are in another industry.
Okay.
So I would use, for example, psychology and music, for example. If
Okay.
you if you really had a passion for music and then along the line your parents are like, no, I'm not having that, and you must study something maybe, and then you get to the school and you wanted to study geography, but a lot of times they throw you into another department than the one you registered for, and you find yourself in psychology. I mean, I do believe that there's a relationship between psychology and the way we perceive music. So you could still find a way to channel your love for music into that. No knowledge is ever wasted.
Mhm.
So I'm a prime example of that. I loved music, but I also loved other things, luckily
Okay.
for me. So I was not hard pressed on studying music, but I did have keen interest as well in studying music, but eventually I studied something else.
Mhm.
So right now, music is still a passion. I still do arrange, compose, and sometimes produce. It's not. I don't do it for income right now. So right now, it's still purely a passion, but I do intend to grow that over time.
Okay.
And then I find out that the knowledge I gained from my studies in school in architecture helped me both in ways of thinking for creative solutions, problem solving, both in graphic design, in music when I'm composing a piece, and the approach to concept development. I take cues from what I learned in architecture. So no knowledge is truly ever wasted.
Ever
If you do find yourself in that situation, there are so many options. You can first satisfy the honor you do to your parents, then find your own path, or if you're lucky, you will find a way to achieve both where you are.
Awesome. All right, guys, let's meet the Know Your Faith crew for our Know Your Faith session. Stay with us.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Know Your Faith. I'm Jeffrey, your host. Today we want to know what Jesus really meant when he said, "Do not call anyone on earth your father." First, we know say the Jews, they always Jones, and Jesus, they always change them for them. They ever waste time. So this was another one of those changing its moments. You get? As we see in Matthew chapter 23, verse 6 to 7, Jesus admonished Jewish leaders who love the place of honor at feasts and the best seats in the synagogues, and salutations in the marketplaces, and being called rabbi by men. He was using hyperbole to show the scribes and Pharisees how sinful and proud they were for not looking humbly to God as the source of all authority and fatherhood, and instead setting themselves up as the chief authorities and father figures. Them things them don't learn, them no know. However, this wasn't the first time Christ used hyperbole. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 29, Jesus said, "If your right eye causes you to sin, pluck it out and throw it away. It is better that you lose one of your members than your whole body be thrown into hell." Christ certainly did not intend this to be applied literally. If not, see, I'm laughing. All Christians will be blind amputees. Like all of us will be blind. I will not have hands and feet at all. Please, let's note that Jesus is not forbidding us to call men fathers. He is warning people against inaccurately attributing fatherhood or a particular kind or degree of fatherhood to those who do not deserve it. So in summary, what Jesus meant when he tells us to not call anyone on earth our father is that we should not give the honor of God to mere men who do not deserve it. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that notification bell, like it, share it with your friends and your family, your loved ones, even those who you call your enemy. Share it to them. Till next time, be bold, be Catholic.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you, Know Your Faith crew, for that amazing topic. So we're talking about Mr. Emery's passion, how he was able to, make money from his passion, how he was able to study and come out and also still make money from his passion. So, Mr. Emmanuel, what about you? What do you have to say about people that have passion for one thing and end up, parents being an influence in it? So tell us about yours.
Yeah, basically, I would say when it comes to passion, almost all individual has that problem of parents wanting something else for them, especially in the Black country, Africa. Our parents...
Africa or Nigeria?
Africa, generally. Okay. Africa, there's a mentality of you must do this, and I just want to use this opportunity to say this to parents because I've always wanted to. I am a victim of that, not a victim, so to say, which is the parents wanting something for you. They wanted me to be a medical doctor. I ended up studying microbiology. And all those years, I was not an art student. I'm not an art student. I did sciences, but I was still going to write post-UME in Abraka for music, even if I knew I was not going to get the admission. Like, I knew I would pass. I was just using that to test myself, be in the community or in the midst of people of the same passion or the same like minds. Now, this has really affected so many of our youths, which is, it takes divine intervention for you to retrace your steps. So many people, 70, 80%, I would say, are not living their purpose of creation. We are here, we think, oh, we're just here to fill the earth or as matter, fill the space.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why we are being created, everyone. We have a purpose, we have a call. And our parents don't get to see this. They impose on us. Now, I want to just say this as an advice to parents. I think the best way is watch your child from the young age growing up. There are certain things you would notice about this child. Like me, my mom was saying, oh, you be a medical doctor. At a point, she noticed I could repair maybe the generator, I could fix something. She was like, oh, maybe you be an engineer. And there are side things. Definitely, we can do everything in life. If you want to fly the plane, you can. If you want to be a pilot, if you want to do anything, it's possible. It's about going through the process and having that dedication. So, all I'm trying to say is for parents to try to look into their child, not impose. I knew the struggle I went through, for real. I knew the struggle I went through to make music my basic work or job. How do I say it? Job. So that's my take for parents to try to watch their kids. And the kids, I would advise, sorry to say, I would advise they have to be stubborn in that aspect. Why do I say that? I didn't grow up as a stubborn child. Yes, I have things running in my head, My parents don't want to know. They feel it's, oh, medical doctor, read your book. I was good. If I want to be good, I could come up, I could be third in class this time. I could be 25 next time. It's me. It's me. If you don't make me happy, like you make me feel, oh, you must read this book, I'll tell you who will write the exam. I'll go there and fail. I will fail woefully. I did it several times. So all I'm trying to say is these kids have to try to be stubborn positively. It's the Holy Spirit being in them, because when you're talking about stubborn, people will say, oh, it's not good. I want my child to be stubborn in the sense that you need to know what is burning in you. You need to know what you like.
Yeah.
So you become stubborn when you're trying to achieve it. And you seem like, oh, he's a stubborn child. I remember my bandmates. I was the youngest in my band. I was at 2001. I was the keyboardist, and they would come to the house waiting for me outside, and I would hang my shirt outside. Once my mom goes into the bedroom, I'm off.
You're off.
And when I come back, I'll come back with money. And,
really? And your mom will not flog you?
Definitely.
She will flog you?
Tomorrow we go again. The cane will go bad someday. So that's it. I'm not really advising people to be stubborn, but when I mean you need to go for your dream. You don't need to blame your parents for it.
Go for what you believe that you have passion for.
Yeah.
All right. So, Emery, do you have any final advice for people that want to cash out from their passion?
So for me, everyone is different. Every passion is different. We come from the music line. I mean, there are passions. There's so many different passions and so many different paths each person can take. Even, in fact, a person can have more than one passion.
Yeah.
So, but if like you said, there's the Holy Spirit and then there's the divine aspect of it, there's a purpose aspect of it. If you are absolutely sure and you see a path, you may not go blindly. Only you know yourself.
Yeah.
You know yourself. So if you're absolutely sure about what it is you want to do and the path you want to go, nobody else is responsible for the way you eventually go. Not your parents, not your friends.
Yeah.
Everybody makes their own choice.
Okay.
So you know yourself, you know your path, you know your passions, you know what's around you, you know what is in you. So make your choice.
Make your choice.
Do not blame anyone.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, you may, if they say, oh, study this, it's 4 years of school. It's not the end of the line. It's not the end of the road. There's always the chance to
finish up.
Like go back to your track.
Go back to your track. He studied microbiology. I studied architecture.
Wow.
Yes. So.
Okay, I studied chemistry and see what I'm doing.
Exactly.
So it applies to all of us.
Exactly.
But the knowledge is not wasted still.
The knowledge is not wasted.
At least you can form juice.
No problem. All right. Thank you so much, Emery. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for this awesome discussion. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Still wish to see you again. Yeah. And both of you are still looking handsome. I'm still going to continue complimenting you. All right, guys. So we've come to the end of this episode. Hope you've learned one or two things from it. So we've learned that you can actually cash out from your passion. The only thing you need to do is to be consistent and just start small. You don't need so much. You can start from where you are. So that's it, guys. We've come to the end of today's episode. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our channel at Dominica Media Presents. Follow us on our social media platforms at CFF on TV. And do not forget to share this video with someone whom you feel will really need it. So that's it, guys. We've come to the end of the show. I remain your host, Stephanie Ezonye. And until next time, guys, keep being saints in jeans and shirts. Bye-bye. I say bye-bye. Bye-bye.